Now we'll finish the shaping of our mustache and then look into a technique we can use for seamlessly mirroring our blend shapes. We'll get right back to our soft mod tool. From there we can go ahead and just do a major change, just shifting the mustache slightly over since the mouth has shifted. Then we could start doing more of our detailing. So we'll go ahead and decrease our brush size. It's not so large. Bring down this corner of the mustache, bring it over to the side, rotate it a bit, bring it down. Okay. Then we could go to the corner of the mustache. Again, bring in the handle. So we're just influencing the corner. Go to our rotate option for it. Move it down, move it over, and the X, and then move it out some more. Possibly even add another axis of rotation to it. Alright, great. Now before we call this done, let's go ahead and do a few more tweaks. So we can go ahead and click in another area. We need to make sure that we bring this up now that we've made these changes. We can even adjust our pivot to be more centered or aligned where we'd like it to be. And just bring up the mustache here. I'd even like to increase the influence some more and then bring it over. Okay. Then we can take this corner and also do the same, just decrease our size and bring that over. You can see that the blend shape process does take some time, but it's all worth it in the end when the shapes all come together. I like to go to the more middle right section of the shape. Just bring this part of the mustache down. Okay, great. Alright, so we'll call this side done for our right smirk. Let's go ahead and work on the left side of it. So we can again go ahead and select, bring in our influence, bring it over, bring it out, so it's not interpenetrating with the character's mouth there. And let's see if there's anything else that we really need to do to this side. Possibly take this corner of the mustache and just bring that down a little bit more, and then go right next to it. Okay, bring that in, and then just bring up this section just so that it's resting as it needs to, closer to the nose. Alright, so from here what we can do is call this done. So this looks like a pretty decent shape for us. So what does that leave us with? Well, now we're ready to work on our technique for seamlessly mirroring our blend shapes. If you ever try to go ahead and just take your blend shape and scale it, and the X, for example, you notice that when you apply it to your character's head, it may not be that simple because the verts will just flip as we go ahead and test out the blend shape on our character's head. So we're going to need to not only scale our head, but also set up an influence so that it can drive another head. And then after that's done, we can duplicate that head and get rid of everything else, leaving us with our seamless blend shape head. Now, that sounds like a lot of steps, but we'll be able to fly through it in no time, and we'll also be able to see that it is going to be a great technique or a great way to save time from having to do these type of mirrors. So what do we need in order to mirror our shapes? Well, we'll go ahead and select our head again. Okay, we could select the mustache first, followed by the head, just so we know that we do need to unlock our channels, okay, our translate. Now, we'll also want to make sure that we duplicate our head. So we'll duplicate that first prior to unlocking our transforms. Control D. We could go now to our translate attributes, unlock them, and now move over our head. And if this does happen again where our mustache is going one way, head the other, we'll go ahead and just reset or reload our world mode, translation mode, and then bring over our heads. Now that we have this, we're going to want to duplicate it again and make sure that we don't shift the duplication, that it rests right on top. Again, so everything can work well for us. So with this head now selected, we'll just hit Control D again to make sure it's duplicated. Alright, from here, let's go to our outliner, and we may want to just go to a float menu for our outliner, and then frame it just so we can see everything clearly. Alright, so what we have is our shape that we're going to scale. Remember, we're going to scale one of them, and then we're going to use that as a driver, okay, for our other shape. Okay, so we'll see how we can do that. So one we're going to scale, one we're going to use as a driven object. Okay, so we have that same for the head. So let's go ahead and give them names. For the head, what we can call that is WM underscore head and then underscore SCL for scale, since we know that we're going to scale this 0, 1. And then for the other one, we could call that WM underscore head underscore wrap. Okay, the reason why is we're actually going to be using a wrap deform for this. Okay, so we'll go ahead and with that now selected, and with that now renamed actually, we can go ahead and do the same thing for the mustache. We can just switch this to make this a little bit faster, call that WM mustache underscore SCL for scale 0, 1. Right underneath, can switch that to WM mustache. Oh, go ahead and finish naming this. Alright, 0, 1. Alright, great. So we have them renamed. What's our next step? Next step is to make sure that we scale these objects correctly. Okay, so we know that we're going to be scaling just as we would if we wanted to mirror this shape over. That's going to be in the X. So we'll go ahead and scale on the X, -1. And an important thing to note is that you should have a symmetrical face for your shape. Notice how this character's shape is symmetrical, and this will all help to bring everything together nicely. So we've gone ahead and scaled that, and we'll also do the same for the head. We'll unlock its scale and put in a value of -1. Great. Okay, let's go ahead and work on now mirroring everything. We'll start with the head. We'll select the head, and we'll select our scale right afterwards. With them now selected, we want to go up to deform and just make a blend shape. Again, it doesn't matter if we label this or not, because in the end we're going to want to delete our scale and wrap after we have duplicated the wrap to retrieve the objects that we need for our seamless blend shape. But once that has been made, if we now select the scale, watch what happens. We'll minimize our outliner. So watch what happens. We'll go to the blend shape and move the smirk. Notice how it seems we get, hey, a seamless mirror of a blend shape already. But again, this is not going to work because when we apply it to our character's head, we may run into our verts really flipping on us, and we don't want that to happen. So we'll zero out our blend shape to bring everything back to its default position. That's important to do, so everything will work right. We could go back to our outliner and do the same thing for our mustache. We're just working back and forth here. So of course we select our blend shaped mustache, followed by the one that will scale. And again, we go ahead and do another blend shape. Again, we don't need to worry about renaming anything here. Great. So now that that's done, we can test it out. We can go back to our scale mustache, minimize our outliner for now, and notice we get the same type of thing, a mirrored shape. So what's our next task? Well, once we brought that back to its default, zeroing out the weight of our blend shape, we're now ready to work on our wrap deform. So let's go ahead and do that. We could start with the head. So that's going to be our object followed by what we want to drive that object. That's going to be our scale. So that's the wrap. Control click the scale. Go to create deformers and go to our wrap options. Okay, so now these are the default settings. And yes, we can use our default settings, but we may see that a few of our verts are left behind. Now, in order to grab all of them, what we can do is use Maya's new feature for this tool, which is exclusive bind. And this is really cool because what it allows us to do is grab all of our blend shapes. It acts as a rigid bind in that manner. So it'll grab all of our verts that we need. We'll check it on and hit create. And let's see what happens. We go to our scale of the head. We go to our blend shape. Now watch. As we move the smirk, notice how our wrap deform head is moving along with it perfectly, just like what we need. Great. So with that now done, okay, we'll leave this set to 1. Okay, we want to go ahead and do that. And now we'll go ahead and do the same thing for our mustache. So we select our wrap, followed by the scale, go to deform, and go to wrap deform. We shouldn't need to adjust any of the options. Just go to our scale now and move our blend shape, and notice that wrap deform mustache also follows correctly. Alright, so now that this is done, we're ready to select our wrap deform object. So we'll select both that we've labeled wrap, duplicate them, and get rid of now our scale and original wrap. So let's go ahead and get rid of those. We'll get our scale and original wrap, delete. What does that leave us with? Well, watch this. If we go ahead and minimize our outliner, select our head, we'll just do a quick blend shape, okay, and we'll undo it afterwards. So we select our head followed by our character's head. We go to create deformers, blend shape, and watch this. As we select our character's head, go to the blend shape and move it, notice a seamless blend shape. Nothing flips. Everything is moving just as we need it to, and that applies also to our mustache. So there is a process for seamlessly mirroring blend shapes. I'm just going to go ahead and do all the way back prior to the blend shape being made, and we can see how this is really going to save us time from having to redo other shapes when we're trying to get a mirrored effect for them. So that is the lesson. Of course, what we need to do is go ahead and just copy and paste our names just so that we label them correctly. We'll want to switch R to an L since this is our left smirk. We'll go to our mustache of our original blend shape and just paste it over and switch again the R to an L. Then we also want to make sure that all of these rest within our blend shape node that we have created for it. So we could go to our outliner, and the outliner was open. Let me go ahead and close that out, go right back to it. Okay, so with our head selected, making sure we don't accidentally select our finger control, so we'll go in wireframe mode and just reselect again. Open up our character node, control click our blend shapes, and hit P to parent them. Now, since we're going to be creating controls for our blend shapes, let's go ahead and just show our blend shape layer for now. But again, that is the process of making our mirrored blend shapes. That also concludes this lesson. In the next lesson, we're going to work on creating our controls so that we'll be able to control our blend shapes in an innovative and pretty convenient way.